Hey guys, so this is my review of The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Right, so my rant video was not a review, and I apologise if I upset or offended or angered anybody with what I said. It was just me expressing my feelings regarding some of the content and issues in the book and things that had frustrated me while reading it. But I did not mean it as an overtly critical attack on the novel or the series. It was just feelings. So this is my review properly, legit. Okay, so yeah, The Hunger Games. I knew that it obviously has a strong fan base, and it was strange to be standing outside of that fan base while the trailers for the film adaptation had been released and things. It was a weird alienating experience because I haven't really been outside of a major YA fandom before. So I'm finally jumping in there so I can have them read by the time the film's out. And I know that Katniss Everdeen has lots of supporters and lots of people, you know, she's a favourite female protagonist for a lot of readers, so I wanted to get into it. I also knew, of course, about the shipping wars between Team Gale and Team Peter. I don't really go by ships and such within books necessarily. I do for TV shows, but not books so much. And I know that it's, you know, apparently the forerunner of recent dystopian novels. Everyone keeps making all the comparisons and stuff. So I thought, okay, I'll read the gosh darn thing, and yeah, I mean, it was okay. I still struggled with the fact that, I mean, at the end of the day, dystopians depress me. That's just the nature of the genre, and I don't like violence, so I was always going to struggle with that. But the characters were interesting. Katniss Everdeen, I did like her as a protagonist. I know that a lot of people have made comparisons between her and Katza from Graceling, and I'm a big fan of Katza's, so it was interesting that I didn't respond as warmly to Katniss. I should say that I was going to explain the plot, but pretty much everyone knows the plot, right? It's futuristic, post-apocalyptic North America, and there's 12 districts. Katniss is from District 12. There were 13, but District 13 was destroyed by the capital, which is the dictatorial community that rules over everybody else, and every year, to remind the other districts of the rebellion that was stomped out 75 years ago, the capital hosts the Hunger Games, wherein 2 kids from each district between the ages of 12 and 18 are thrown into an arena and they have to kill one another. And everyone watches it on TV because watching children and young people murder one another is apparently fun. And so that's what goes down. I'm mocking, of course, but apparently the capital's bloodthirsty. They always get referenced as that. So does that mean, is that just the hive mentality that all the districts think the residents of the capital have? Or is the capital really populated with people who seemingly have no moral compass and are emotionally and mentally, like, stunted? I don't know. We've met some people from the capital and they all seem a little strange, and the fact that they have this inherent excitement and weirdly placed passion towards the games and what's going on is worrying. You know, we've met people like Effie Trinket. Did Effie remind anyone else of a cross between Glinda from the musical of Wicked or Rita Skeeter from Harry Potter? Because to me she was just an accumulation of those two. And then we've met, like, Katniss's prep team when she was getting all made up when she was doing the publicity and press for the Hunger Games and such. Yeah, I don't know. I worry about capital residents. I don't quite know what to make of them. Anyway, so Katniss goes into the Hunger Games to protect her sister Prim, who's only 12, who was elected to go in, so Katniss volunteers, and a young lad named Peter, who's the baker's son in District 12. He goes into, and Katniss knows Peter from when they were children. He helped her out in a very difficult time, and he's a kind-hearted lad. And it's revealed, I've already alerted you to spoilers in the title, but Peter has been long harbouring romantic feelings toward Katniss, and she knew nothing of this, and it's revealed just before they go into the games. It's this big publicity stunt, seemingly. That's what Katniss thinks, and I like that element of it being obviously quite, from the outset, very sincere, genuine, emotional revelation from Peter, but Katniss spends the whole time thinking, is this real, is this for show, or does he actually mean it? And yeah, I also like that Peter was the one who initiated all of this, and that it was him, you know, opening up about his feelings and being more emotional and demonstrative of that, and that he was, you know, the mushy guy. I liked that. Something different. And I've ranted about how I feel about the games themselves and everything that went down there, really. Things just, yeah, it was hard to read for me. I kept getting frustrated. I wanted rebellion, and I wanted it now, which was why I was actually sad that Gale was such a background character in this book. I can understand that, because he wasn't obviously going to be around once the game started, but he was the only voice of anger and resentment and hatred and frustration towards the capital, and, you know, even then it was just quiet whisperings in the woods, and I wanted that to become a, you know, a proactive, you know, thing. But I had to wait for that. Team Gale, Team Peter, I'm not really on either. Peter, I like. I think there's an interesting dichotomy in his character, because I still think of him as being this sweet, kind of innocent, sort of shy character, yet at the same time he's very charismatic and he spins words very well and he does great interviews and that sort of thing. So it's, yeah, he was interesting. He actually kept surprising me a lot. I never got closure on why he went back and killed that girl by the fire from the first night of the games. I know he was with the career tributes and they probably left her in this horrible, lingering, painful death, and he was probably ending it quickly, but I always wanted closure there because that bothered me. I know everyone within the games, by the very nature of what they have to do, becomes a murderer or would become a murderer while they're there, but for whatever reason Peter doing it, it bothered me more, because everyone talks him up as being this morally great, really, really decent fella. So yeah, Katniss as a character, I like her strength and her perseverance and the fact that she's so loyal to those she loves, and that her narrative voice bothered me sometimes. She came across as being quite cold and very, very stubborn. I mean, stubbornness, you know, can go both ways. It's a good thing and a bad thing, and it's a, you know, it's a natural characteristic to have, but I don't know, sometimes she just came across as being a bit callous to me, and especially her reactions to deaths and what was going on in the games, but then everyone bothered me in that sense in the games. Supporting characters, I really like Cinna, who was the fashion coordinator and you know, beautician and whatnot for Katniss's campaign for the games. I really like him. He's interesting, and I warm towards him. I liked Haymitch, which people might think is strange, but even though he's repugnant in his own way, I actually took a lot of pity on him, and I can understand his response to things, the fact that he drinks so much. Even though it's not, you know, it's not a nice thing to see, I can comprehend why he'd be doing that, because it would suck to have to mentor people every year, these kids knowing they're going to die. So yeah, I like him. I want to see where he is in the future, and that. Supporting characters I did enjoy. And Katniss, I know everyone loves her, but I mean, I don't hate her at all, but I just didn't warm to her that much. Overall, the book was very addictive reading though, and I kept going with it. I've read Catching Fire, so I've just got to get Mockingjay, and I will be able to have an informed opinion when the film comes out, which is important. So, yeah, I'll probably give it 3.5 stars. Yeah, 3.5 stars for The Hunger Games.